1. The power of response over reaction. When someone hurts you, your natural instinct is to react, to defend, to attack, or to shut down completely. But here's the truth. The way you respond in that moment can either deepen the wound or start the healing. Most people think communication is about talking, but real communication begins with emotional discipline. Before you open your mouth, you must open your awareness. Take a breath, feel the pain, but don't let it speak for you, because pain that speaks without wisdom becomes destruction. The goal isn't to hurt back, it's to express truth. And you can't do that when you're consumed by emotion. You see, reacting is easy. Anyone can shout, accuse, or withdraw. But responding with calmness when your heart is burning, that's power, that's control. When you pause before speaking, you give yourself the chance to lead the moment instead of being led by it. Silence, when chosen wisely, isn't weakness, it's strategy. It allows you to understand what exactly hurt you and why. Once you know that, you can speak with purpose, not pain. You turn your words from weapons into bridges. So before you confront anyone, confront yourself. Ask, what do I truly want from this conversation? Revenge, validation, or peace? Because if your goal is peace, then your words must reflect healing, not hostility. The strongest people are not those who never get hurt, but those who refuse to let hurt dictate their behavior. Communication begins with mastering your own emotions first. That's the foundation of real power. 2. Speaking with honesty, not hostility. When you decide to speak, let honesty guide you, not anger, not ego. People often confuse honesty with brutality. They say, I'm just being real, when what they're really being is reckless. Real communication isn't about attacking, it's about revealing. Instead of saying, you made me feel worthless, try, I felt hurt when that happened. The difference might sound small, but it changes everything. The first phrase attacks, the second invites understanding. It shows maturity, not weakness. It's easy to raise your voice. It takes strength to raise your standards. Remember, your tone speaks louder than your words. When your voice shakes with rage, people stop hearing your message. But when your voice carries calm confidence, people start listening. Communicating hurt doesn't mean you're soft. It means you respect yourself enough to express pain with dignity. You're not begging for understanding. You're setting the stage for it. Say exactly how you feel. Clear, direct, and specific. But keep your emotions disciplined. Use I statements, not you attacks. I felt ignored carries more power than you never care. Because communication isn't about scoring points. It's about revealing truth. You can't build understanding on top of accusation. Every word you speak is either a brick or a bullet. One builds connection, the other destroys it. So choose carefully. The strongest communicator is the one who can be truthful without being toxic. 3. Setting boundaries with strength. One of the most powerful parts of communication when you've been hurt is setting boundaries. Without boundaries, your words mean nothing. People will keep crossing lines that don't exist. Boundaries tell others, I respect myself, and I expect you to do the same. But here's the challenge. Setting boundaries requires courage, especially when you care about the person who hurt you. You might fear losing them, disappointing them, or being seen as too sensitive. But remember, boundaries are not walls, they are respect lines. They don't keep love out, they keep peace. And when you communicate your limits clearly, you're not being cruel, you're being wise. Say it calmly but firmly. That comment was hurtful. I don't tolerate disrespect. The way people react to your boundaries will reveal everything about their character. If they value you, they'll listen. If they only value their comfort, they'll argue. Don't explain your boundaries more than twice, because repeating them to someone who doesn't respect them isn't communication anymore. It's begging. And begging for basic respect is beneath your worth. Real love and real friendship thrive where mutual respect lives. Remember, boundaries aren't meant to control others, they're meant to protect your peace. You teach people how to treat you by how you communicate your limits. When you set them with confidence and consistency, you stop being a victim and start being your own protector. 4. Listening. Without losing yourself, communication isn't just about speaking, it's also about listening. But listening doesn't mean surrendering your truth. It means you're mature enough to hear another perspective without losing your own. When you confront someone who hurt you, give them a chance to explain. Maybe their words or actions weren't meant to wound you. Maybe there's a misunderstanding, or maybe they simply lack awareness. But listen, not to argue, not to prove them wrong, but to understand. Because understanding doesn't mean agreeing. It means you're strong enough to see the full picture without letting it blur your boundaries. Sometimes when people are defensive, it's because they're ashamed, not uncaring. Let them speak, but don't let them twist your reality. If they try to gaslight you or minimize your pain, stand firm. You know what you felt. You know your truth. Listening gives you power, not over them, but over yourself. It prevents you from assuming, exaggerating, or misjudging. But never listen at the cost of your self-respect. The goal of communication is mutual growth, not guilt or submission. If someone refuses to hear you, that silence speaks volumes. Their refusal to understand doesn't invalidate your experience. It reveals their capacity. So listen with empathy, but protect your peace. That's emotional maturity in motion. 5. Releasing the outcome and choosing peace. After you've spoken your truth and listened with clarity, the final step is release, because not every conversation will end the way you hope. Some people will never take accountability. Some will deny, deflect, or disappear. But that's okay, because your peace isn't tied to their apology. The purpose of communicating hurt isn't to change someone, it's to free yourself. When you express your pain calmly, you take the power back from the wound. You tell your heart, I've said what I needed to say. Now I move forward. Closure doesn't come from others, it comes from self-respect. You can forgive without reconnecting. You can heal without hearing, I'm sorry. You can let go without losing compassion. Communication isn't about making them understand, it's about making yourself understood. And once you've done that, you've already won. Carry yourself with grace. Don't let bitterness stain your heart. The moment you release resentment, you rise above it. Let peace be your loudest answer. Because in the end, people remember not how loud you were, but how powerfully you carried your truth. Communicate with strength, love, and dignity. And no matter who hurt you, you'll walk away unbroken, wiser and freer than before.